For years, quiet whispers have circulated through the corridors of the entertainment industry, rumors so persistent that they refuse to fade, no matter how aggressively they are ignored. Among those whispers are claims suggesting that something deeply troubling may have occurred between two prominent figures, Sean Diddy Combs and Usher Raymond. These rumors, at times intense enough to spark talk of hospital visits and long-term trauma, have lived in the shadows of a business known for its glamour, excess, and carefully curated narratives, unlike many who dismiss such speculation as gossip or conspiracy. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has repeatedly chosen to bring these conversations back into the public eye. Time and again, he has argued that the entertainment industry has a long history of concealing its darkest truths beneath layers of success, power, and celebrity. To him, these discussions are not merely about scandal or rivalry, they represent a disturbing pattern he believes has repeated itself for
Don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Let's go. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Hey, hey, hey.
Bieber got by Diddy.
It's not our fault that Usher didn't want to get fucked by Diddy anymore. It is not our fault that Usher didn't want to get fucked by Diddy no more.
Certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business. Right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led
decades. In interviews, social media posts, and most recently in promotional material for his documentary projects, 50 Cent has made one thing clear: silence, in his view, is not neutrality. It is complicity. These aren't my allegations, he has emphasized more than once. But ignoring them isn't an option. His tone, often misinterpreted as provocation or mockery, carries something deeper when examined closely: fatigue. The fatigue of someone who has witnessed violence, betrayal, manipulation, and survival firsthand, and who believes the system protects itself at the expense of its most vulnerable. For 50 Cent, this is not about reigniting old rivalries or settling personal scores. It is about shining a light on what he sees as an uncomfortable truth: that young artists, often minors, are propelled into fame before they are emotionally or psychologically prepared, and are then placed in environments where power dynamics are dangerously imbalanced. In these spaces, influential gatekeepers offer opportunity, but sometimes with unspoken expectations.
What happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executives from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
What did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. I was about to say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas. I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard.
We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
what the f did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen,
having a good time.
Expectations attached. Expectations of loyalty, of silence, of gratitude at any cost. He has suggested that many newcomers never truly had a choice. Their ambitions, dreams, and raw talent may have been leveraged as tools to serve someone else's authority. And once inside that system, speaking out can feel impossible. To understand why these allegations continue to provoke such strong reactions, it is necessary to revisit the early days of Usher Raymond's career. Usher was barely a teenager, just 14 years old, when his extraordinary talent began to attract attention from major industry players. Gifted, ambitious, and still learning how to navigate the world, he was far from prepared for the complexities of an industry driven by money, influence, and image. At the time, L.A. Reid, co-founder of LaFauci Records, believed that placing the young singer under the mentorship of Sean Diddy Combs in New York City would be beneficial. The idea, at least on the surface,
To New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than this.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about.
Boom.
And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there.
Was that exposure to a fast-paced, competitive environment would toughen Usher up and refine his artistry. Diddy, by that point, was already deeply immersed in nightlife culture, wealth, and power. He was not just a producer or executive, he was a trendsetter, a kingmaker, and a commanding presence in every room he entered. To many observers, The arrangement appeared to be an extraordinary opportunity, a young prodigy learning directly from one of the most influential figures in music, but from 50 Cent's perspective. The situation raises unsettling questions. What happens when opportunity and risk coexist? When mentorship is intertwined with power? When a child is placed into an adult world with minimal protection, simply because the industry believes success justifies the means? In the trailer for his documentary series, 50 Cent reflects on moments like these. Profits rolled in.
His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. It rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him. I was like, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one? And he was like, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again. And he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was
How dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in the mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know, and a lot of more people know, didn't do you right.
Suggesting that the music business has historically justified questionable decisions under the guise of development. He argues that the industry often reframes vulnerability as a necessary sacrifice, implying that discomfort, exposure, or even harm are simply part of the process. According to this viewpoint, placing a teenager in a mogul's household for the sake of art becomes more than a career move. It becomes symbolic, a story repeated again and again across decades. Where rising fame appears to demand innocence as the price of entry, this pattern, 50 Cent suggests, is not limited to one individual or one era. It is systemic. Young performers are frequently separated from their families, relocated to unfamiliar cities, and surrounded by adults whose interests may not always align with their well-being. In such environments, the line between mentorship and exploitation can blur, especially when there are no safeguards in place. The entertainment industry, after all, thrives on control over narratives, over images, and over access. Those who hold power decide who gets opportunities and who
me plus you. I'ma tell you one time. I'ma tell you one time. I'ma tell you one time. One time when I met you, come on. Wow.
I ain't gonna stop you like that, but this is only a tease. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you, Island Def Jam recording artist, Justin Bieber. It's getting ready to go down. Just so you know, we're in the studio right now working on it. Get ready because it's gonna be big. Ain't that right, Justin?
That's right.
That's right. So look out. We're coming.
So Cameron, he did an interview and he told a story about how he went to Diddy house with mates.
Yeah.
And he found the dildo in the sink.
I think that was crazy. I think that was out of, and then May said that was Puff's. I think he said May said that was Puff's. but Mace was in the bathroom with it. I don't know what that was all about, man, but that was real weird to me. That was crazy.
Crazy, man. But before we get off of that, right, I remember you told me a while ago that, you know, Mace, he used to live with Diddy, and he know a lot of stuff about Diddy that a lot of people don't know.
Man, it's a lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bruh? Can you really imagine?
What you mean by Usher, though?
Usher used to stay with Diddy, too, when he was younger. And this was years ago. So the locks ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. This the kind of... Man, listen here. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. But I want to talk about this lawsuit by Jahan, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. It's a part in this lawsuit where she alleges that she was at a dinner with Neo, Usher, and Jimmy Iovine. And Diddy, he punched Cassie in the stomach and no one did anything. How you feel about that?
They were part of the dinner and they watched Cassie get abused in front of Puffy, abused Cassie in front of them. And neither one of those men, and they probably security was around too, did nothing to stop what he had did to Cassie. Now that's just crazy right there, bro. That is just crazy. Usher probably got a daughter. Neo probably got kids. I don't know. Jimmy Iovine, you know, he take about 15, 20 scoops of sugar in his coffee. So all those cats there, supposed to be men, watch that lady get abused right there in public, and they did nothing, brother. They did nothing. That goes to show you the power that he had mentally over them. Here go a woman witnesses, and this witnessing it, and said, they said nothing. Yo, man, stop. Don't do that. Yo, not here, bro. Easy. Nothing. Don't do nothing. Say something. She said they didn't do anything and they didn't say nothing. That's the bad thing about it. If you're not going to do nothing, open your damn mouth and say something. And that's a lot wrong with our people right now.
Disappears into obscurity. For a young artist, pushing back against that power can feel like career suicide. This is why. In 50 Cent's eyes, the issue goes far beyond individual rumors. It is about a culture that normalizes silence and rewards compliance. A culture where speaking out years later invites skepticism, ridicule, or accusations of opportunism. And a culture where the passage of time is often used as a shield against accountability. Critics argue that revisiting such stories without concrete evidence risks damaging reputations and perpetuating speculation. But supporters counter that refusing to examine uncomfortable histories allows harmful systems to remain intact. They argue that asking questions is not the same as making accusations and that transparency is essential for meaningful change. What complicates the discussion further is the way the industry responds to allegations. Often, attention is redirected. Conversations are reframed. Legal language replaces human emotion, and public interest eventually shifts elsewhere. Meanwhile, those who were most affected may continue to carry the consequences in silence. For 50 Cent, who has survived gun violence, betrayal within his own circles, and years of industry politics, the topic appears deeply personal. His life has been shaped by moments where power was abused and survival depended on resilience. That history informs his skepticism toward systems that claim to protect while quietly enabling harm. He has repeatedly emphasized that the goal is not to tear anyone down, but to question why these patterns continue to emerge. Why are minors placed in adult spaces without oversight? Why is fame prioritized over safety? And why does the industry react defensively when these questions are raised? The Usher and Diddy narrative, whether fully understood or not, has become a focus.
See the IG live that Puffy and his mom did, and Puffy, he was shouting out Mason, showing him love for, you know, him being a part of the No Way Out album. And, you know, his mom, she cut it in, and, you know, I guess she didn't like him shouting out Mace, and she made a comment telling Mace stop messing with her son or whatever.
I guess mama wasn't feeling Mace. And Mace is a celebrity, and by him having a platform to say something about her son, you know, she would say that. You understand? I've said more about Mace, I've said more about Diddy than Mace have. But maybe because I'm not a celebrity, I don't have the platform, and he didn't say my name, she didn't say anything about, and you too, Gene Deal. And maybe because she might still find me sexy. She say she looking.
What you mean by that? His mom was trying to talk to you back then?
I don't wanna. What? What? That's how we fell out, bruh. That's how we fell out. You don't know? I thought you watched the Gene Deal show, Art.
No, man. Tell me about that. Y'all ain't know that.
Oh my God. Yo, one day, Puff and Justin was in the office, right? And sometimes I gotta watch Justin, but since the grandma up there, you know, she watching Justin something, I still gotta keep my eye on Puff. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who security gonna let up sometimes, and this, that, and the third. So it used to she used to have a restaurant, and she used to bring food up to the office and give it to people, right? So this one particular time, you know, she used to always like do innuendos to me. Gene, why you don't never Gene, why you don't never Gene, why you don't like that? But I never even, you know, paid her any attention because it's always Miss Combs. It ain't Mama Combs, it ain't Janice, it's Miss Combs. You understand? I gave her that respect. But she used to always throw in the windows, and you know when somebody find you somewhat attractive. And then because I used to get in Puff's ass, because Puff used to be disrespectful around his mother. You understand? I'm glad they got a better relationship and they got a better understanding, because she know I said it before. You understand? When he cursed out, we was getting in a limousine. This when the office was on 19th Street and 5th Avenue. He said, didn't I tell you to stay out of my motherfucking business? He was talking to his mother. And I said, boy, let me tell you something. If I ever hear you cuss your mother again, I'm gonna beat the shit out you. You ain't gonna bring nothing of bad luck to us. Don't you ever cuss your mother. But I told her to stay out of my business. You wouldn't have no business if it wasn't for her. I'm not playing with you, man. Now you need to apologize to her. She slammed the door because she was gonna get in a limo with us at this time. She just left and went the other way. Now, we was in the office one time. This one time, Justin she brought some food up. And she like, Gene, I need you to go downstairs and get this food out the truck or the van or whatever she had on down there. I need to get out there. I said, and all these people's in the office. It's 1,000 interns that could have did that shit. But I know she just she wanted to show that she had power over me, and I would never give her no power over me. You understand? Because she used to always ask me to do shit. I know what, you know, she probably really wanted me to do, but I wasn't feeling that. So now, I'm sitting there like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not here for that. So she got all riled up. Everybody do what I tell them to do except you. Who do you think you are? Stuff like that. I said, I'm here for Puff. Anything happen to him while I go down there getting your food, it's a situation. Puff overheard the thing. And Puff came out and said, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Why you always messing with Gene? Leave Gene alone. This came out his own mouth in his office. And there's people who was there who witnessed the shit. And from that point on, Paul started getting this other dude from my block, around our block, named Stretch, because he was NYPD, to take my days. And I just said to myself, man, I ain't f***ing with that no more. And that's how we fell out. That's how it ended. That's how it ended.
So she was trying to get at you on the low. She was trying to come on to you. That's why she kept messing with you. But you wasn't going for it. You wasn't checking for it like that. You wasn't interested.
Not at all. Nah, I was gonna knock the dust off that, bro. Not me.
You didn't find her attractive?
No.
Point for these broader concerns. It forces the public to confront uncomfortable realities about how success stories are built, and at what cost. As audiences consume music, documentaries, and celebrity interviews, they are rarely shown the full picture. They see polished performances, award speeches, and curated social media moments. What they do not see are the power negotiations behind closed doors, the pressure to conform, or the moments when young artists realize they are no longer in control of their own paths. This is the silence 50 Cent claims to be pushing against. In his view, the industry's greatest strength, its ability to reinvent narratives, is also its greatest weakness. Because every time a story is buried, another young artist enters the same system, unaware of the risks that came before them, whether one agrees with his approach or not. His message has reignited a conversation many would prefer to avoid. A conversation about accountability, about protection, and about whether success should ever come at the expense of a child's safety or autonomy. Ultimately, the question remains unresolved, not because it lacks importance, but because the entertainment industry has yet to fully reckon with its own history. Until it does, voices like 50 Cent will continue to challenge the silence, reminding the world that behind the glamour there are stories still waiting to be told.